What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. Today we're going to talk about something that is not so much in the news anymore, but I got an email over here. I don't see it much anymore at all, but I guess it's still out there. GHB Overdose by amateur bodybuilder. And this individual wants to know, he was taking GHB as a supplement for bodybuilding, this guy. So he wasn't partying, so he would mix it while partying, okay? Partying and drinking. Apparently one night he collapsed and went into cardiac arrest. This guy never touched his stuff, who was writing me the thing. So he said apparently it used to be legal as a supplement when it was made, and then it was made illegal. Do I have any knowledge or experience with this stuff, or have I heard of other bodybuilders overdosing on it? Okay, of course he's writing me this thing because of course I have knowledge of this shit. Of course I've used it. GHB, gamma hydroxymethylbutyrate, was first brought onto the scene by Dan Duchesne. He was the first one pushing it for sleep purposes, growth hormone increase, stuff like that. It was a bodybuilding thing. It quickly became a party drug, very quickly. You get an effect like you're high and kind of drunk, and there's a very fine line of taking enough to get screwed up and enough to just fucking overdose and what they call G out. Now, when you G out, your respiratory system, all of your vital signs are very low. You, for all appearances, are dead. When someone sees you G'd out, they will think you're dead. You will not wake up. You are completely limp. It looks like you're not breathing. You barely have a pulse. You are in a sedated state to the point where you're basically in a coma. That's what a G'ing out is. You're basically in a coma. And I've had friends wake up in the hospital with tubes down their throat, tubes up their ass, like just completely hooked up to shit because they thought they were going to die. Their family's there, and all of a sudden they wake up and they fucking pulling shit out of their mouth and their ass. Like, holy shit, because they weren't going to die. They had G'd out. Nobody had the knowledge that they were on GHB, and apparently it doesn't show up in the blood after it metabolizes. So they would do a blood test and say there's nothing in his blood. We don't know what's wrong with him. He's going to die. They have no fucking clue. So let's back up to where GHB was legal. It used to be legal, and you could buy it at supplement shops, and it was called Serenity. There's one called Eternity. There was one called it was like Blue something or other. I mean, there were so many different names for it, and it basically came in a bottle. It was a liquid, and you'd take a cap full of it and you would drink it. A bottle was probably $10, something like that. And we would take this stuff and get high as fuck. And if you were taking ecstasy, you would take ecstasy, and as you came down from the ecstasy, you would take a cap of liquid G and it would bring you right back up again. So you wouldn't have to keep taking the ecstasy and cramp your stomach up and feel like shit. It was another party drug. Now the thing is, if you take a cap full, that might be enough to get you high. A cap in like at this much more, you're fucking out cold. And you have no clue what happens. And this is the biggest problem for women, because when they're G'd out, they get raped. It's a date rape drug. Like Rohypnol, it's one of the most scariest things out there. You know, I've had friends, girls that were friends that woke up and they were in someone's fucking bed and they had no idea how they got there. They were just fucking brought in there and they were, you know, had been raped, plain and simple, and had no clue what the fuck happened. And we would actually, you know, go out and use this stuff at clubs. I mean, it was all over clubs. It was legal. It was not a big deal. Everybody had it in their car. You take a shot of it, go in the club, come out to your car, take a shot of it, go back in the club. It was no big deal. And then very quickly, the feds, DEA, whoever, figured out, you know, this is GHB. This is not a fucking playtime. This is not stuff that should be on the market for kids to get their hands on, because there was no age limit to buy it. And quickly made it illegal. So like Monday it was legal. Tuesday it was illegal. They passed it and they said, fuck it, get it off the market. Don't let them sell the extra, you know, stock they have. Just get it off the market. It's dangerous. So basically, they kept changing the formula and making it like a precursor so that it wasn't GHB. When you took it, an enzyme in your body turned it into GHB and had the same effect. They fought that for a long time, pulled those off the shelves. It was a giant fucking mess. Excuse me. And eventually, you know, it all became illegal. Now, I had myself never G'd out, but I had like my friend's sister G'd out one time. I gave her the bottle. She said, oh, I want to give something to one of my friends. I gave her the bottle. She came back with half the bottle gone. I was like, where the fuck is it? Oh, me and my friend. I said, you and your friend took half the bottle? Sit down. So she sat down, G'd out, and I literally sat with her for hours. Then couldn't bring her home because her parents would freak out. And so I needed to get her to her brother, who was a friend of mine. And so I took her with me to the next after hours event, which I knew he would be at. And by the time we got there, she had snapped out of it and woke up. And she went home with her brother, and he took care of her and stuff. But it was one of those things where like they're talking, like, yeah, I'm having a great time. They go, and they just fucking hit the floor, and they're out. And they're snoring, and they're out cold. It's scary as shit. And, you know, it was definitely not bodybuilding purposes. People used to make it which was the fucking scariest thing. And I think that Dan Duchesne actually had a recipe in one of his books, I can't remember what it was now, on how to make this shit out of chemicals. And people would fuck it up, and they would take a shot of this stuff, and it would literally burn their whole fucking esophagus all the way down into their stomach, just destroy that whole fucking area. And you would have to be fucking tube fed. You couldn't fucking talk. It was awful, the shit that this thing would do. And you know, eventually it became illegal. I mean, I don't know anybody that actually died from GHB overdose. Most of the people that I know who passed away from drugs were mixing different things, cocktails of stuff like Valium, GHB, Viagra. I mean, you fucking name the drugs. They were popping these things like Tic Tacs, drinking stuff down, taking shots of stuff, and everybody they had no concept of what could cross-react with each other. And at that point, you know, people started to die. So to hear that this stuff is still out there doesn't surprise me, because it's, you know, where there's a demand, there's going to be a supply somehow. But if someone comes up to you at a party or a club or something and says, yeah, here, this is Liquid G, take this, it's a lot of fun, pay attention to what I'm saying right now. Don't fucking take it. Do not take it. You don't know what the hell's going to happen to you. You don't know where it came from. You don't know who made it. This is a public service announcement right now. Do not play with this shit, okay? I played with it when I was younger. I was completely wild and haphazard with this shit. I'm lucky. My friends are lucky who didn't get fucked up from it, didn't have any complications, or didn't drive on the shit. If you're driving on the shit and you G out, you are completely unconscious, comatose. You will crash that car. You could kill someone. So, you know, for this one, you know, I'm sorry that your friend passed away from this. But this stuff is not new. It's nasty shit. It's been around for a long time. And should be avoided. Fucking messages. Should be avoided at all costs. Biosafetraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biosafetraining.com is a blog. It's the No GHB Bicep, and we're out.